Hello, everyone. I'm Alex.
I'm Andy.
And today on Top 5 Showdown, we're going to be going over our top 5 puzzle games. As always, let us know who you think won down in the comments and let us know what your list would be.
This is a genre I know you love, and I wish I loved it as much as you do.
It's
Because
a
there are a lot of freaking puzzle games
There
out
are
there
tons,
for
yes.
sure.
I just recently saved my beloved copy of Bejeweled Twist from the grips of an evil business mogul.
I guess you should explain what your. I think for a second, explain like how does one tell when you're looking at a pile of shovelware? How
Mhm.
does one like fish out that puzzle game gem?
I feel like true blue puzzle games aren't usually shovelware. That's more of like a mini game thing. Most puzzle game, I mean, you always will get games like Bejeweled that are just kind of like whatever. But even then, like I can still play that. I don't know because the whole
Yeah,
thing with puzzle games, it's a very low barrier to be immersed because you just
right.
kind of get that instant feedback of doing like a pretty obvious task. I mean, there can be a lot of depth there, of course. I don't have to like go into a whole new world to play Candy Crush.
Right.
Well, with that being said, let's get into the list. My number 5, I'm not actually 100% sure what the exact title is. It's basically Kirby Star Stacker, but it's for the Game Boy Color. It is on the Nintendo Switch Online as an SNES game. If you have that, you definitely should play this one. It's really cool. It works kind of like the Yoshi NES game, if you've ever played that, where like you can get an egg top and an egg bottom. Anything in between that gets deleted. And yeah, it just works like that. There's different Kirby enemies, and they sandwich stars in between them. And then if you do combos, Kirby like explodes into stars. It's just a very satisfying game loop. King Dedede is very upset about everything that's going on. And yeah, super cool little game. It's like $4 if you can find it.
Yoshi the game or Yoshi's Cookie?
Yoshi the
Just
game. Yoshi's
Yoshi.
Cookie almost made this list though.
Oh well, all right. I will say my experience with puzzle games definitely skews like first party Nintendo. So my number 5 is actually going to be Dr. Mario. Nintendo came up with another like how many like drop down like concepts can one come out with? But they did. They figured it out. Another one. So yeah, hats off to Nintendo.
Yeah, no, I like Dr. Mario. I definitely have played that a lot on my Game Boy as well. My number 4 is another game I've played a lot on my Game Boy. That is Mole Mania. This is a very overlooked game that I believe was designed by Miyamoto, and it is another like kind of top-down puzzle adventure game where you have to dig underground to sometimes avoid obstacles. You have to like push boulders around, avoid enemies, all that good stuff. There are bosses that have different little tricks you have to do to defeat them. This game also just has an amazing save system, which on older systems like the Game Boy is just always such an awesome thing. It like saves in every single individual room, not even every single level. So this game is like it's super easy to work your way through. You don't have to commit a bunch of time to playing it. You can just do one room at a time, and it is super cute.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Driller as my number 4. I guess we didn't really outline the parameters of puzzle games, but
Mr. Driller counts.
I think Mr. Driller counts as a puzzle game. Yeah, I think I wish I knew more about the Dig Dug lore with Mr. Driller, so I could drop some Namco knowledge in here. But I don't know. Whenever I found out, I kind of missed Mr. Driller during when it came out in the PS1 era. I know it was in arcades, but it's an arcade board that I have now, and I just think it's a great concept. Super cute characters, really fun multiplayer, and different modes you can play. So yeah, Mr. Driller is my number 4.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely need to play that one. It's a very good design. My number 3 is Tetris Attack or Panel de Pon, whichever one you want it to be. It could also be Pokemon Puzzle League if that's where you're at, which sometimes it is where I'm at. And this game is like the quintessential simple puzzle game. You can't even like decide which direction you switch blocks around in. It's just horizontal. But for some reason, this game can like put me in a trance like nothing else. It's like I'm playing Dark Souls or something, but it's just Tetris Attack. It's just so satisfying. I like the little like clacky noises the gems make. Also, it's just a very good, well sound designed game. It's cool that Yoshi's randomly in this version, even though there are no. Actually, I think there still are some fairies. There's just Yoshi is also there. But yeah, if you haven't played Tetris Attack, definitely play it. It's not Tetris.
All I heard was it's the Dark Souls of puzzle games.
Yeah, that I'll go on a limb. I'll say that Tetris Attack is the Dark Souls of puzzle games.
My number 3 is Tetris 99. I mean, I had to throw a Tetris game on there because I mean Tetris is the most ubiquitous puzzle game you could ever think of, talk about, or play, and I just think Tetris 99 was such a great way of making this game that has forever been locked into this solo experience for the most part. Making it be competitive in that way was just super brilliant and a great way to a great game for them to kind of start that whole kind of launch of games like that online. Still, I think you should bring back Super Mario 35 Nintendo, but Tetris 99 is my number 3.
Yeah, definitely. When someone's really good at Tetris, though, it's like they're playing a different game. It's like a
oh yeah.
they do a weird thing with the controller. It's wild stuff.
We should get Jeff on to talk about Tetris because he knows way more about it than me. But it's just wild. Yes,
it is. My number 2. And this is a game that maybe you've thought of as shovelware in the past and just overlooked.
Yes.
Puzzle Quest. This game is awesome. It is very similar to Bejeweled, which somehow I've mentioned that game 12 times in this video, and that's not even on my list. But they have shoehorned in as many RPG mechanics as possible. So, you get weapons, you get spells that are if you match 10 red gems, you can cast a fire spell at your enemy that does damage. There's also skulls that you match, which are just melee damage. And yeah, you really do customize a character. Mine was a cleric, so they have a healing spell and a bunch of spells that boost how many gems they get so that they can do cooler combos. There's mounts, there's companions, there's a whole story that I didn't read any of because I don't really care about the story in Puzzle Quest, to be honest. But if you kind of grindy JRPGs, and you like puzzle games, this marries those two so perfectly. I was blown away by this game. It's really awesome. And it's on everything also.
My number 2 is also a game on your list, Mole Mania. I have to mention it because it's one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time. And for all the same reasons you said, it's just, if you haven't picked up a copy or looked into it, emulating it or whatever, you should definitely play this game. It's so creative. Again, it's in an era, it was one of the last Game Boy games to come out, and it was produced by the legendary group that did all those other amazing Nintendo games on Game Boy. And I mean, the fact that at the end of the life cycle they were able to just come up with this concept that was just so compelling and fun. People that were at the top of their game, creating one more just gem for everyone, and the fact that it's not more well known is a crime. So yeah, go play Mole Mania.
Yeah, they gotta bring that back. They gotta put the mole in Smash.
Or just stick it on a Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo.
Yeah, is it? Oh yeah, it's not even there, is it?
Right.
That's wild.
Wild.
All right, for the first time ever, since I love puzzle games so much, I have some honorable mentions before I tell you guys my number 1.
Oh wow, there's a lot of games here.
All right. So the first honorable mention is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. This game is super cool. I'll get that in a second. It's very similar to another game called Puyo Puyo. That's really awesome, and it's just cool that they did it with another character. Another really cool game.
And I just want to Dr. Robotnik, not Dr. Eggman.
Yes. Don't get that wrong. Another cool game is Kirby's Avalanche. This game's really similar to a game called Puyo Puyo. But there's Kirby in it, which those are my 2 favorite things. So that is awesome. And yeah, it's a super solid game that plays a lot like Puyo Puyo. My next honorable mention is Puyo Puyo Fever. This is a really cool take on Puyo Puyo, where there's a new mode, and the art in this game is pretty cool. I think this definitely has the best music of any Puyo Puyo game, and it's probably the most focused on its characters from what I've experienced of Puyo Puyo. You're in a school, and you argue with people a lot, because that's every single Puyo Puyo game. But yeah, this game's super stylish, super fun. Definitely pick this one up. My next honorable mention is Puyo Puyo 2 on the Sega Saturn. This is a great sequel to the first Puyo Puyo, where you are doing the exact same thing again, but it's a new game.
Better graphics.
Yes. My next honorable mention is the first Puyo Puyo on the Super Famicom. This is where it started. Sega wasn't even publishing it yet. Really, really the beginning of something amazing here. My next honorable mention...
Who is Band Presto published it? All right.
They do Gundam stuff.
Yeah.
My next honorable mention is Puyo Pop. This is a super solid version of a game called Puyo Puyo. But this one's on the Game Boy Advance, so it's different. And then my final honorable mention, which fell on the ground, is Quicks. So for my number one, we've got Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. This is a combination of probably just the two greatest puzzle games. Puyo Puyo is maybe just the greatest game. And yeah, this game has so much personality. There's Sonic is in it. That's always a plus for any game that has Sonic. And I just love Puyo Puyo. There's something about that gameplay where it's kind of less exact than something like Tetris. It's a little more forgiving for you to just kind of flow freely instead of having to do these super rigid like little tricks and stuff. You are just trying to set up combos of four, and since everything's affected by gravity, it's very kind of easy as long as you just are a little bit conscious of setting up like threes and then having one that unlocks it. I'm getting too technical here. But yeah, you should play Puyo Puyo. I like this game at least a little bit.
Which is the Dark Souls of Puyo Puyo games, though? Is my question. I mean, Puyo Puyo is its own subgenre at this point.
I struggled with Kirby's Avalanche probably more than the other ones.
All right. My number one is Capcom's Puzzle Fighter, or I think as it is rightly titled, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I don't even know how to explain this game because I have to admit, like, the mechanics are so wild and out there. I don't even know if I fully understand. But I've played it so much that I feel like once you get into the zone with this game, and once you get a character that you understand, like how the gems fall down and how the combos work. Once that all starts to connect in your brain, it is just like one of the best experiences. It's really awesome going head to head with someone else who is decent at the game and just like crushing them when you get like so many like combos in a row, or you make like just a giant gem field. And I don't know, it's just a really satisfying game visually, like watching your strategies unfold and then just being able to crush your opponent like all at once is just really fulfilling. So I don't know. Also, if you love Capcom and all the Street Fighter, Darkstalker characters, then this game is definitely right up there as a game you should definitely look into. But yeah, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah, for sure. That one also very nearly made my list, and it's also another game with very good gem noises. I like their little clacks.
Oh yeah.
So, with that all being said, let us know who you think won down in the comments. Let us know who we should rank next time. Thank you for watching. And we have a Patreon. It's $5 a month. There isn't much on there right now, but we will expand it. But if you just like what we're doing and want to help support us and help us make new and more and better and bigger content, that's the best way to do it. So thank you.
And it also helps the brick and mortar side of the store, which you guys may not be aware of, but we do have arcade machines here at our shop. And arcades are kind of like a thing that even with barcades and other things, it's still a dying type place.
Yeah. And Andy does sleep in a dog bed in the corner in the store, so it helps him maybe get a real bed too.
Yeah, so donate to the Patreon so I can get a real bed.
Yes. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.